The wind's bad, but we're here. Solar City Marines getting the new motor for the boat today, so that's exciting stuff. Woo! Boats. Well guys, we're at home. I've got the Solar City Marine and Caravans cap on after picking up our motor. Now it's in here in the back of the old territory, and let's have a look at that. Actually, before we do that, let's have a look at the boat that's going to go on. And here it is. Look at that, beautiful. Of course, the Murray Crabb. A couple of decals on there from some of our favourite people. Thirsty Laws by CJ, Dizzy Scent, Mollix, love Mollix gear, Rejo's ticker, and in here, Captain Morgan's and Sarsaparilla. If you haven't tried it, get on it. So, for starters, it's a Stacer 370. It's a good sized little boat to get around the rivers. Handles a little bit of wake, some waves and whatnot, and it's actually quite stable. And with the motor that's going to go on it, which we'll show you in a minute, it goes quite well. We've got the Minn Kota Terrova, salt and freshwater capable, iLink on it, so I can actually link it to the Humminbird, which I don't have, but there's, well, sorry, I do have, but it's packed up at the moment, so which sits there. So that's all capable of being linked up, but I haven't done that yet. But when I link the iPilot link up to the Humminbird, I can actually put in GPS courses and plot, and just sit back and let the motor follow the GPS. It's actually got the capabilities for dual sound. It's got the sounder built in the bottom, and it's got GPS in both the sounder and in the Minn Kota, so that's pretty handy. Underneath here, we're powered by dual battery setup, 210 amp hour AC Delco batteries, a couple of oars in there, and our anchor is down on the ground on the other side there. I've just given it a clean. You can see she's pretty scuffed up on the inside, a lot of things rattling around, but she cleaned up pretty well. It looks like she's still in pretty good nick. So there's a couple of patches where we've had tiny little pinholes and cracks and stuff, you can see there, but otherwise all good. So we've got an isolator on here for the sounder. We've actually got driving lights and internal lights, and obviously nav lights, so all set up there. The fuel tank will go under here in this compartment for the motor, and the esky goes under this side here. Now this is our little transportation for rods. Now it does only hold 4, we have to transport the rest another way, but I wanted it to be able to clip a couple of rods in when I'm running up the road and not having to go all over the place. And everyone looks at this and goes, oh no, that's in the way, you can't sit here. But I thought of that. So what we have here is one of the ones that clips around and holds the rods in place, like that. You sit your 4 rods, butt end in there, or handle end, whatever you want to call it, and just push your rod down through the foam, just for extra security. Even though these clip in pretty good, I normally run a rubber band around here, or it's just a bit of rope depending on what I've got around. So that is pretty solid. It's got the screws in each end, and it doesn't really move around. But when I get to where I'm going, it's set up so that this unclips. It's quite tight so it doesn't move, but over center, you can just sit them in the boat. Obviously you see I haven't cleaned under there. You sit them in the boat, the same thing at the other end, and then you've actually got, much better, you've actually got seat space there. So all you have to be mindful of is these little things, which aren't really an issue. Right? They don't get in your way at all. So, and then when you want to go again, you just sit that back up there, hook one side in, hook the other side in, and just over center, and that's back to being solid again. That just holds your rods, and that is super handy because your rods sit here, they sit up there, an eyelet behind here. They don't slide up and down, they don't move in your way. So that's there. Yeah, she ties down on the back. Just to a couple of tie down points down here, and that keeps everything nice and stable. It's got dual drainage plugs, a few more of our favourites on the back there. Central Vic Lorecaster Super Series, fantastic little competition series that we've been in a couple of times, and good group of blokes to support if you're ever looking for a nice comp to get into. Really affordable, 30 bucks a round to enter, and good prizes, good time. Bomber eyewear, obviously, Daiwa, a couple of rods, but all my reels are Daiwa. And Elf Lure Fishing, which was a trial competition series, which has turned into the Pro Series in Victoria, which is actually a little bit more serious and a little bit more expensive than this. Really good if you're a serious fisherman. Good for serious fishermen, it's actually really good for the family. So yeah, from the back and then down the other side. Anyway, in here we have the Yamaha F25. Now this is the new Yamaha 4-stroke. It's electric start, it has EFI, it ranges anywhere from 4 to 6 kilometers per litre depending on what you put it on, and it is gorgeous. You don't have to use the muffs on these new engines, they're designed to flush out from here. So what you do, turn your motor off, plug your hose on, unscrew this, plug your hose straight onto there. So you screw a tap fitting on there, literally put your hose on, turn your hose on, flushes the system out without you having to start it. And it is designed to do that way, and it cleans the salt out of your system 100%. It's actually more effective than banging the old earmuffs on here and sucking it in. So that is a fantastic feature. Electric start button, longer tiller arm, 50 RPM increment, increases and decreases by touch on the tiller arm. And there you have it, fuel tank connected to the 4-stroke. Now I have still got to bolt it on, I've centered it, and I've still got to hook the electric start up. But the impressive thing about this being a 4-stroke is that I picked that up out of my car, carried it over here and put it on the back of the boat by myself. Now the previous model of 4-stroke, that would not have been possible with. It was ridiculously heavy. This is some ridiculous amount of percentage lighter than the previous model, and it's only something like 8 kilos heavier than the 2-stroke model of the 25 horse. So just a couple of quick things while I've got it out. We've got gear lever. The gear lever on the tiller arm. So just here, so no reaching back here doing anything, it's right there. Obviously you've got your throttle, and this is what I was talking about, your 50 RPM up and down. So I don't really troll, but if you are, just not going quick enough, click it up by 50, click it up by 50, reverse, down. Alright, stop button on the tiller arm. And over here, electric start button. Just bang that, boom, away you go. Obviously after you prime it. The beautiful thing about this is no 2-stroke mixing anymore. It's oil. It's got an oil light and a temperature light. Technology's come a long way. Also, that spins real easy. It's got a torsion adjustment here. Now it's rocking the whole boat. Push it back here. So while you're cruising along, that's cool. If it's a little bit rough and you want a little bit of tension on this, so it's not trying to rip it back and forwards out of your hand, you can do that. But if you've got the lecky on up the front and you want your outboard to stay straight, swing around there, jams on. All the tiller lift and everything's just on the front right here. You do have to manually lift it, but you click it, lift it up, it'll lock itself in. Click it back the other way, lift it up and let it down, it'll drop all the way down. It lifts up on 3 settings. Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of work. That way, under here, look at that bad boy. So it's actually got the alternator set up because it's electric start, this one. So it charges the battery. That's all this connection in here. It's got a fuse in here and a spare fuse as well. So if you have any issues out on the water, you can replace the fuse. Oil filler and oil dipstick. And doesn't that look fancy? I reckon that is magic. So there it is, guys. That's the F25. This is our little rig, the Murray Crabb. Obviously, Murray Crabb fishing. Why wouldn't you? And we love it. You know, the main difference here to most boats is just our little rigged up rod holder. Otherwise, everything else is compliant. Spotlight on the front, and a little switchboardy thing that I set up myself. Dual batteries showing 12.6 volts. Shows you voltage. Oh, and it also has on the left there just a standard cigarette port, so you can plug anything in. The one in the middle there is actually a USB port, so you can charge your phone, charge your whatever else you have on you. I've pretty much got my phone or the Minn Kota remote. When we're cruising around, I can plug it in and let it charge. If you've got an iPad or sometimes charge GoPro batteries as well. So yeah, that's all there. If you like the rod holder idea and you want to know exactly how I built it, let us know and I'll do a how-to. We might make one for the other side and show you guys how I did it. The new outboard on the boat, and we've primed it up. We just push this button. Oh, beautiful. Oh yeah, that's it.